will be on tomorrow's test? You might ask. Sasha, a question?
What exactly will be on tomorrow's quiz?
No, it's a test. I thought you might ask.
Really?
Okay. I would say we'll have 48 questions. There'll be 4 review questions, and then here is the new stuff.
Wait, how many open you? Wait.
With all multiple choice?
Yes. Okay. No, sorry, 5 review questions. So here are the other 43. Obviously, lots and lots and lots of Hamilton's financial plans. I think there'll be 3 questions on that. So that is, well, that's the number 1 topic that gets the most. So really, no, not just the National Bank, but that'll be on it. But remember, we had like 4 parts of his plans, like repaying foreign debts, domestic debts, et cetera, et cetera. So really study that. There will also be 2 Washington foreign policy questions. So you need to know the overall, one word, what did Washington stand for? And then you need to know Jay's Treaty, Greenville, and Pinckney's Treaty. Probably not a question on France because he didn't fix it.
What's the Greenville one again?
Indians, we can move into their territory. Then I would say any questions on Adams would, yes. Any questions on Adams would all revolve around, well, what caused the Alien and Sedition Acts, the XYZ affair, the resulting Alien and Sedition Acts, and from the Alien and Sedition Acts, the resulting, and the Kentucky and Virginia resolution.
Could you go over the XYZ affair?
It was when France basically insulted us with a bribe, but the big thing is it caused huge tension between the French. Many Federalists especially wanted Adams to declare war.
They bribed us.
Well, they were sort of asking for a bribe. Otherwise, we cannot see you. We are the French unless you give us $1 million. Okay.
Adams presidency.
What?
Yeah.
That's the result. Okay. Before Jefferson, I would know your election of 1800. I would say there is definitely a possibility of a specific election of 1800 question. That's the one with the tie, the resulting broken in the House, the duel, the 12th Amendment, et cetera, et cetera. That might be one of those questions like which of the following is not true, so you're going to have to know everything about it because like 4 things will be true and 1 thing will be not true, if I had to guess. Louisiana Purchase, I would say there could be 2 questions about that.
Jefferson.
Yes. Then the War of 1812. Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 5 questions. That's the biggest thing, sorry. My bad. Okay, so I would say causes. I would know what a war hawk is. I would know who the war hawks were. I would know the regions of the country that were in favor of the war. I would know the region that was against it. I would know your Hartford Convention. I would even know the battles. You might get a Fort McHenry or a Battle of New Orleans or a Tippecanoe, probably one of those 3. Tippecanoe, Washington, McHenry, New Orleans.
No.
Yes.
Like, what's the definition of a war hawk?
Somebody who really wanted us to go to war.
Was Henry by a war hawk?
Yes.
Calhoun, right?
Yes. All right. Then there'll be a couple of questions in that American system, how nationalism turns into sectionalism type of stuff. Madison and Monroe like being against infrastructure for the federal government, and I would just know which parts of the American system there were. What? I don't think it would hurt. There's not going to be a specific like what's the order of the president's question, but I would certainly know there'll be a question on the Missouri Compromise, 2 questions on the Monroe Doctrine, then 1, 2, 3, 4 questions on the Marshall Court. So all of these are eligible. Marbury v. Madison, Cohens v. Virginia, Fletcher v. Peck, Dartmouth v. Woodward, Gibbons v. Ogden, and McCulloch v. Maryland. All 6 cases we did. And I think, yeah, for the nervous Nellies, there'll be 2 specific, like in McCulloch v. Maryland, the court found. But more than that, there'll be 2 cases, like 2 questions like general. Remember, strengthen the federal government, strengthen the court, strengthen businesses, strengthen contract law, sort of the overall type of thing. Question, Jennifer.
Should we just study the specifics of all of them?
I would study the specific results. You don't have to know the details of all of them. I told you in class when you were writing down like who McCulloch was and stuff that was a waste of time. But you do need to know the results of all of them. Why are they important? Why are they noteworthy?
What year was Mulberry versus Madison?
1803.
So before that, there was no judicial.
Before that, there was only a symbolic. There was no real judicial branch. Okay, on to Jackson. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. There's also 5 questions on Andrew Jackson. So stuff to know about Andrew Jackson. Yeah, there's a lot of Andrew Jackson. I'm not going to lie. It's not just bank nullification and Native American Trail Tiers. It also is spoils system, increased power of the executive branch, era of the common man, increased suffrage, the right to vote. Yeah, well, that's a huge step. Then, boy, there's more than that. There's a lot of Jackson. Then there could be even 2 questions about the tariff itself, the nullification crisis. I would definitely, and then a Panic of 1837 question, which is partly Jackson as well. Yes, there's a lot of Jackson. Study your Jackson. Okay, and now we're up to the last 9 questions, and I wanted to have the curve. And so, that's being generous, and I don't want a reputation for being too easy. You know, I'm really worried about that. That's a big problem for me. So there might be 4 questions where it says 1 if it applies to Calhoun, 2 Clay, 3 Jackson, 4 Webster, and 5 like not Calhoun, Clay, Jackson, or Webster.
Just write that question.
Oh, but there's probably a hint in there. No, it's alphabetical. 1 is Calhoun, 2 is Clay, 3 is Jackson, 4 is Webster, etc. So then there'll just be 4 statements, and you'll have to be like, oh, that one was Calhoun, that one was Clay, that one was Webster, that one was Jackson. So you have to like know who was who said what at that dinner with the toasts, who responded back to Hayne, who was a big nationalist, who was a big compromiser, who was originally a big nationalist, and he turned into a big states' rights guy. So those, I told you, between Jefferson and Lincoln, there's really only 4 important characters, and 1 is a president, Jackson, and the other 3, since the presidents were all kind of buffoonish or dying after a month of, pneumonia or whatever, are Clay, Calhoun, and Webster, even though none of them were ever president. So I would say you're going to get 4 statements, and no, it's not like there's 1 for each of the 4. There's like 1 that's twice or 3 times, 1 that's not used, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes. And then the last 5 questions are all manifest destiny. And I don't think any of them are too hard, but I guess the hint I would give is 3. 1's a general definition of manifest destiny, but the other 3 are Mexican War, and only 1 of them is 54-40 or fight. So if you're really down to the point where you are going to fall asleep in 2 minutes and you don't have 5 minutes to study your manifest destiny, do the Mexican War part, not the 54-40 or fight part, because that only has 1 question. And so manifest destiny, that would include like the Mexican War, the Gadsden Purchase, Guadalupe, Hidalgo, and there could be a late question like that makes you know all of them, like which of these is incorrectly matched, which treaty is incorrectly matched with the war it ended. So then you're going to have to know like, oh, Revolutionary War ended with the, oh, and the War of 1812 ended with the, oh, and the Mexican War ended with the, okay, then 4 would be all of them are correctly matched, and 5 would be none of them are correctly matched. I know, that's so ridiculous. Questions, Jen?
Are you doing any
No.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Just those review questions.
Yes.
Include.
Northwest Ordinance,
Hold on. Okay.
federalism,
Okay.
and a ratification question. The other 2 are so easy, I can't believe, I don't know why.
But I don't know. Let's make those bonus questions. Do you have a question on Montezuma?
No. When you get the review question wrong as a class, I give up. You do not know the Aztecs. I concede defeat. All right, final questions. Also, there could be a celebrity appearance from Carlo on the test.
You go over the panic 1819.
All you need to know is it caused increased sectionalism. All right, Alice, I have a meeting. Yes, Jen.